All right, fuck it. We'll do it live. We'll do it live. Sorry, I'm not gonna lie to you. It's 9:27 Lord's time zone. I got the college football sweats on. Peasant was a fucking peasant tonight. So an otherwise awesome lineup is now a sweat. I think DTR for UCLA is gonna have to get me there on this college football sweat. So if you see me looking up a lot, that's why. Also, which UTSA, it's like roll the dice, which UTSA receiver, and I ended up going with Cephas, and he's having a good game, but fucking everybody else is having a great game. So I need him to like backdoor me 100 yards here. He almost threw a touchdown to the fucking quarterback a minute ago, which would have been sweet. I could have used that passing touchdown, but he got tackled at like the 10 or whatever. So anyways, there you go. I won't lie. I'm going to be rambling a lot. It's going to be a little rambly. Tomorrow's slate's fucking tricky, man. It is tricky. It's not just like, hey, go play Hooker and Daniels and just get on down the road, right? It's a little bit more complex than that. And part of the reason I'll be talking and rambling so much is I'm still not sure what I'm going to do. The good news is it's still 13 and a half hours till kickoff, so I got some time to figure it out. But I'm going to walk you through where I'm at. This is the Rosetta Stone. It's up. It's ready to go. And so let's look at it. All right. I play so much more cash than I do GPPs. I'm probably going to be talking through that lens a lot, so fucking deal with it. Notice Judkins here in this dark purple. We got to start talking about there. And I put 50 asterisks by him, so I wouldn't forget to talk about him. Zach Evans appears like he's going to play. That's the starting running back for Ole Miss. But he is kind of a prima donna, and if for some reason he's out, I think that makes Judkins the absolute smash play of the slate. Like, you got to have him or you're fucking toast kind of play, right? So definitely we're going to be monitoring that in the morning. And if Evans is out, you get him in every fucking cash lineup you have. Judkins is the smash play. But as of right now, it looks like Zach Evans is going to play. I was just looking it up on the Twitters. So there's that. This game, don't like it. I mean, this Robinson from Kentucky, obviously, and I need to stress this because I put this in a message earlier, and I need everybody to hear this. When somebody's in blue, that doesn't mean you can't play them in cash. That just means be aware that, like, they do have a high ceiling, but they also have a really low floor. And a lot of times in cash, we want high floors and high ceilings. So, like tonight, I ended up playing DTR. That's the quarterback for UCLA. I ended up playing him in cash, and I think he has a very low floor, so that was kind of risky. But that's what I'm doing. So, this Robinson guy, I don't know if I play him in cash, but I think he does have high upside. I think he's Kentucky's most likely scorer. I just don't really like this game. Not a game I want to stack or attack that much. I do think it could get sneaky because Ole Miss has a good offense. So if you want to be really contrarian in a GPP, feel free to go stack this game. This Texas Tech-Kansas State game, Tech has not been super efficient this year, but they do pass the ball a lot. And Kansas State, you got to wonder how efficient they're going to be after the big win against OU. Oh, my God, dude. Fat guy's rumbling for a touchdown. Tackle him. Oh, my God. He just I love fat guy pick sixes. Fucking deal with it. When I see a fat guy rumbling down the field, my big ass gets happy. So you definitely got to like the K-State side of the ball here. I would not go chasing Taylor Martinez or Adrian Martinez. I can't remember his name. Fuckface Martinez. I wouldn't go chasing what he did against OU last week. I don't think he's going to match that. I do think Deuce Vaughn is very, very safe in cash. At home in a favorable script, you got to be liking that, right? And if you want to play a receiver, I don't know why you'd want to play a K-State receiver. I think you should look at Brooks. I wouldn't be playing a K-State receiver, brother. All right, this one's where it's starting to get tricky, right? There's so many good punts on this for cash this week that, like, I'm really thinking maybe I should just spend my money on Gabriel, right? Like, I mean, like, he almost seems a lock for 25 points tomorrow, probably with 35 to 40 point upside, right? So if I can get him in there, he runs just enough, not a big runner, but he runs enough. He's in a competitive game, and his team has a high total. It's hard not to play that, right? You do have to worry about the running backs. OU does like to run the ball down inside the 10, so there is a decent chance that the running backs are going to pilfer some of his touchdowns. And the biggest home run threat on this entire slate is Mims. Problem is Mims is only getting about 20% target share. But, man, he is very efficient in those targets he gets. So, 2 bombs, he's there. So I'm really considering Mims in cash game just because I just got so much money left over, right? There's just so many cheap builds. I don't know if I'm going to get there, but we'll talk about why it's so easy to get mems, right? If you have a lot of money left over, you should spend it on the guys that are the safest to get the points. And I think, in my opinion, the two safest receivers on this slate are Mims from OU and Hutchinson from Iowa State. They're both a little pricey, but there's just so many good punts, it's not hard to get those guys in. I think Degen from TCU is going to be very popular, and he runs and he passes, but I just want to warn you. Casey Thompson from Nebraska, everybody said he was a smash play at cash too. And I was like, man, OU's defense can be off and on good, right? And there is a world in which OU just goes out and fucking blitzes this team, and now you're playing a quarterback that got you 12 points. I don't really know if you want that. So I think I'm probably going to look elsewhere from Degen and cash, but, I get it. But I also get that they could get blown out. This Michigan-Iowa game, wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole. If I had to play one side of it, or if I had to play anybody, it'd probably be Corum. They do have some punt receivers if for whatever reason you want to stack McCarthy, but this is going to be a slow game with few plays and a lot of running. That is not a game you want to stack to try to win a GPP. And if you want to get part of it for cash, why? You want your cash plays to be guys that are good values in high-scoring games. You go over here to Purdue. I don't love that Jones is in a possible blowout script. And that he seems to be Purdue's only score. But, man, 6,400 for a guy that gets 13 targets, that seems really safe, brother. I mean, at wide receiver, all we want is targets. And it's not just that he gets targets. He's a really good receiver. So I think he's very viable. If you have 6,400 left over for your last spot, I think you could throw him in that wide receiver and feel comfortable with it, right? Ibrahim, man, 9,500 is just a really big price tag to pay off, right? And he's not even getting those 30 carries like he's gotten in the past, right? They seem to be monitoring him. I think he might end up being really popular in cash game. And if I'm being completely honest, I should probably bump him up to high upside because, I mean, he could get 35 points, 40 points. I just worry about it. I worry about it. Purdue's actually been pretty good against the run this year. Ibrahim's had some super games so far this year, but a lot of that has been against inferior opponents with masterful efficiency. You can't just keep assuming that he's going to fucking run it in from the 15-yard line every time, right? 9,500 is a big, big price tag to play for a guy that has to be hyper efficient. If I'm going to pay 9,500 for him, I'll just go pay 9,300 for Gabriel, and Gabriel could be really good and fucking not be efficient. You know what I'm saying? He'd get the 30 points on accident. Ibrahim is only getting the 30 points if he is magically efficient. Illinois, Wisconsin. I don't want anything to do with this game except these two running backs. It seems like Allen's finally starting to get that bell cow work for Wisconsin. They're at home. They're in a good game script. 25-point total is okay. That would probably be about the only part I want. Bell it seems to be getting more and more targets. Same with Dyke. But, man, I'm not putting many guys on this list because I'm really trying to help you narrow it down. So I really got more selective about how many guys I put on the list, right? You'll notice there's a lot of quarterbacks missing this week because there's just no reason you should fucking play Illinois' quarterback this week. I don't even want you considering him. Same thing with Purdue's quarterback. So I just don't even put him on the list anymore. There's no color that is ugly enough to represent how much you shouldn't play them. So they get the void of whiteness. Okay. This Brown guy, you can't like him at Wisconsin, who traditionally is very good against the run. He is a bell cow. He's got that going for him. But, man, 18-point total on the road against a tough run defense, I just don't think I can eat 7,500. I'd rather just go play Deuce Vaughn. You know what I'm saying? Just give me Deuce Vaughn instead. Where are we at? Game 7. Navy, Air Force. Only reason I put them on there is if you want to get super fucking tricky in a GPP. But if these guys, if they're in your cash lineup or you're playing a one-off of these guys, what the fuck ever. Okay, you don't care. Whatever, you do that. I don't get it. I'm not gonna do it. Bama, man, if Bama can get in a competitive game, Arkansas can push them and keep it close. Then we might have something going here with Bama. Problem is with Bama, so many of their receivers, it's like they're splitting time so much you don't even fucking know who to pick. So say you want to play Bryce Young, and if you're going to eat that price tag, you got to stack him with at least one of his guys, right? Problem is, who do you stack him with? I don't know. Their running backs, Gibbs has been super not efficient. He had the one big week against Texas with all the catches, but other than that, he really doesn't get it done for an $8,000 price tag. So I just don't know who to play for Bama, right? And then I will say I'm a little worried about Sanders. It seems like they got some more running backs coming back, and he's starting to get his share cut into. So you got to be aware of that. He might not have the ceiling that he used to, but we have seen him have some big weeks. Matter of fact, while I'm on here with you right now, just because I'm a little nervous. I'm going to drop him down to a GPP play. I don't know how big his upside is with those other guys coming back now that I think about it. This is a game that as the night has worn on, maybe my alumni bias has started to kick in, but I'm really starting to warm up to Oklahoma State. 26.5 point total isn't bad. B, Oklahoma State's notoriously a great road team. C, Spencer Sanders is averaging over 10 rushes a game. Those are designed. Those aren't even counting all the times he scrambles. So he gets it done with his legs. He's been really good passing this year. And in theory, they're going to be in a script where they're going to be playing from behind, right? At least a little bit. Richardson seems to have really taken over. We're talking like 25 to 28 touches a game. You got to be interested in that. And I almost put Johnson, this wide receiver. He's running legit like 100% of the routes right now and getting almost 9 targets a game at 4,300. Fuck, he doesn't have to do much to pay that off. He's one of those guys I'm talking about. You can throw in 2 punts at wide receiver this week and feel pretty good about your cash lineup. And I think Johnson's probably one of those. I have him as high upside just because I think there's some safer wide receiver plays, but he's definitely one that you got to put in there. So I'm pretty warm to all 3 of those Oklahoma State guys. I don't know if I play them all 3 in the same cash lineup, but I think they're all viable independently. Reese for Baylor, he's going to be really popular. He just seems to keep gaining momentum. Remember, we were planning for 3,000 a couple weeks ago. Now he seems to have kind of taken over as the bell cow for the team. 4,900. It's hard to pass him up. The problem is the rest of Baylor is so inefficient. I don't really know if I want anything to do with that. You move over here to Iowa State. Brock, he gets enough carries at that price tag to justify it. He's averaging about 20 carries a game, so you got to like that, right? But I think the safe play here, if you're going to play Iowa State, Decker makes a lot of sense at 5,800 just because of sheer volume, but God, he sucks. But if I'm going to play somebody from this game, I'm probably just going to play Hutchinson at cash just because I'm going to have so much extra money. I'll just take, I think he's averaging 13 targets a game. 13 targets a game. That's insane. You got to figure he's going to bring down at least 9 or 10 of those, probably get 100 yards and a touchdown. I mean, it just seems like almost like he has a 22-point floor guaranteed, which is pretty nice for a $7,800 guy, right? Oh, he's chunking it up to number 4. Did Franklin just get another catch? Oh, my God, another interception. Middle Tennessee State's going to fuck around and come back in this game. Okay, where are we at here? KU. The more I thought about it, I think you almost have to play Daniels in cash. He's at home. They have a 28-point total. He runs the ball. He passes the ball. The whole offense is built around him. For my cash lineup, I think I'm just going to go Daniels and then go from there. If you're playing with some GPPs, you can try to get cute, stack him with Grimm or something like that. That's what I'm thinking. This Wake Forest Florida State game, this Banks guy is going to be who everybody wants to play, right? He's 3,000. People are going to see he had the big game last week, but I got to tell you, it's really nice to have a $3,000 guy in your lineup, especially in cash, right? It just makes everything so much easier. But beware, he only averages under 5 targets a game, right? And he's only running about 60% of the routes. They're rotating about 5 or 6 receivers there at Wake Forest. I don't know. I just feel like let me just go ahead because I got him right here. So instead of playing 3,600 Banks, who's arguably the 3rd or 4th wide receiver on his team, why not just drop down here and play Evan Stewart, who's clearly the number 1 receiver now that Ania Smith is out for them? Right? I'd rather just play the 600 and have a guy that, the team total's not as high down here, but he just seems a lot safer for 8 to 9 targets, right? Like, whereas up here, there is a script where Banks get. Not sure what the fuck happened there. Anyways, we're back up and running. So what I was saying is there is a line where there is a world in which Banks only gets like 2 targets, 1 catch, and 7 yards, and like you're kind of busted on your cash lineup, right? So I would just say this. Banks probably has a bigger upside than Evan Stewart does, but I feel like Evan Stewart has a higher floor. So that's just kind of whatever you value. It's your cash lineup. You do it how you want, right? I will say there is something to be said for this. Banks will probably be 90% owned in cash tomorrow. And so you could just play the game of I would rather just box out 90% of people and play the same guy, where if he busts, at least he's busting for everybody, right? That sort of logic. I'm not sure where I'm going to go. I'm just saying that's the difference between Banks and Stewart. They're both really nice punts that will make your lineup work. I'm arguing that maybe, Stewart's better because he's wide receiver 1, whereas Banks is like wide receiver 3 or 4. I think Travis from Florida State, I think a Travis Wilson stack in GPPs is really interesting with that big of a team total playing against Wake, which will push him. I think that could really get there, especially if you run it back. You want to run it back with Banks and Hartman. That makes sense too, right? This one, here's another cheap receiver. You got Coleman over here. Coleman, 4,200, averaging 9 targets a game in a script where they're probably going to be behind. He seems very safe to get you like 10 to 15 points, right? Like as a floor. That's really nice. Tagovailoa and Maryland used to be like the super fast, up pace, pass it all over the place team. They're not those guys anymore. At least through the first 4 games of the season, they're not those guys anymore, right? Hey, there's Peasant getting 5 yards, you fucking peasant. Okay, sorry. I've told you I'm watching the games. I got a backdoor sweat on. O'Done's just got a touchdown for Washington. I think that's how you say his name. But what I do like is this Himby guy, man. He's on the field a lot, 5,300. Look at that. He's playing 63 plays a game. He's out there. He's he even gets a couple targets. He makes sense in a cash play. With that team total, I think you just need him to get in the end zone once and against there, right? A&M is really running out of horses, but you'd be a fool not to pay attention to a chain. He is getting a lot of targets. He's getting a lot of touches. He's getting 17 rushes a game. He's getting on average 3 targets. He's averaging about 20 touches, 100 yards. You gotta like that. He has a nose for the end zone. Oh, UCLA guy almost took it to the house. Okay, so I know you're not here for the commentating. Let's see. Mississippi State, Rodgers, I would not play Rodgers, man. The more I've thought about it, he's just so inefficient. Look at that. He's barely averaging 300 yards a game, and that's on like 53 passes a game. I do like a couple of his receivers, especially Ducking getting 7 catches a game. That's pretty interesting, but overall, this game, I just feel like it's going to not be that fast. Only reason I like it is because a chain is such a usage monster, and Stewart is so cheap at that price. That's what I like. LSU, Auburn. I think Bigsby's a good choice. That's about all I really want to do with this game. I guess you could play Daniels because he has some rushing ability, right? Oh, my God, the fucking kicker tripped him. I just saw that. I hope you're watching this right now. Fucking Washington kicker just straight up tripped the dude like a fucking slide kick, like a karate movie. What the fuck is going on? West Virginia, Texas, this is a really good game to target right here. You got to like Bijan Robinson. Problem is like both of these teams like to spread out the love, and it's not so clear who's going to get it. So sometimes it can be one of those games where, yeah, it has a high total, but if the usage isn't focused, I don't know how much I want a part of it. By the way, these last 4 games here, these last 2 I've talked about, and the next 2 I'm going to talk about, these are FanDuel games. If you're not playing FanDuel, like just fucking ignore this part, right? Okay. NC State, Clemson. If you want to know the truth, I don't really like any of these FanDuel games. I feel like this IU-Nebraska game could be pretty good. I think they're both so bad on defense that it might end up being a pretty good game. So you could consider that. There's my quarterback throwing for 1 yard. Fucking awesome. DTR the man. Okay, so long story short, I feel like you need to think, I'm going to be playing mainly cash tomorrow. I'll probably just build the 1 or 2 lineups and put it in most everything. I mean, I'll do some GPPs, but fuck, I just really enjoying cash. And it makes it really fun when you win a lot at it. So here's what I'm thinking. I am thinking if you want to go with 1 punt at wide receiver, your best choices are probably Johnson from Oklahoma State, Banks from Wake, Stewart from A&M, Coleman from Michigan State. Now, here's a crazy thing. Here's a crazy thought. Once if you played 2 of them, you could double punt, right? Double punt. And I think that you could probably still get there because the good thing about a double punt is it really opens you up for putting a bunch of studs in your lineup, right? I think, it allows you to get Daniels. It probably allows you to get Hutchinson. Probably allows you to get, whoever else you're wanting. Maybe Deuce Vaughn. Or it even allows you to spend up to a Marvin Mims, a Dylan Gabriel, whoever you like, right? It allows those things. So those are things to consider. Remember to play 2 quarterbacks. I think one of them has to be Daniels. I think the other quarterback you should really lean towards for cash is probably, Duggan would be a good choice. I think Gabriel might even be able to get there. I worry that Bryce Young, 9,900 is a big price tag, brother, especially in a blowout narrative. I think Spencer Sanders is one you really got to consider at 6,500 because he gets so much done with his legs, right? You just got to consider that. Of course you got to have Daniels. And then, yeah, I'm telling you, man, it's kind of a fucking, it's a wasteland tomorrow for cash. Running back, you can't go wrong with Deuce Vaughn. If you like any of these high upside guys, if you have the money and you like Corum or Allen or Ibrahim or Brown, I think they all make sense. It's just that those price tags, they really got to get there, right? Richardson makes sense for OSU. Reese makes sense. Brock makes sense if he just keeps getting all that usage, right? UCLA, big first down. Okay. And then Hemby makes sense. And then at receiver, punt twice and get 2 studs, something like that. I don't know. I got a lot of building to do. I just wanted to walk you through this. This is the thing. Remember, we're really watching to make sure Zach Evans plays. If not, we are playing Juckins, and we're going all in on that motherfather. All right, I need this cash line. I have to make a big rally for the big guy. All right, man. We will talk in the morning. Feel free to DM me if you have any questions. Later, motherfather.